Hello, hello. I'm Casey.
And I'm Fallon.
And this is
Render the Darkness.
So your fact for this episode is, it's impossible to hum while holding your nose. How many of you are trying it?
I was just thinking about doing it.
Come on, give it a try. Are you entirely holding your nose? There ain't no way.
Do it.
Also, fact for this episode, that fact is not true, apparently.
Well, you probably couldn't keep like a...
Because Fallon just did it. I did not test it. I should have. I'm going to test it now. I think you're wrong.
I mean, you can make noise, but it's probably not really a...
That was more like a hostage situation I had myself under.
Yeah.
I don't think you had your nose entirely plugged.
I did.
You were making way too many hums.
Alright, I'm just saying.
I don't know if that's hum. Is that humming or is that like bellowing?
I don't know.
I don't either, but
I tried.
it's fun to try either way. Just don't do it for very long because you legit can't breathe.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Okay, so in this episode, we're going to be talking about ghosts.
Ooh.
Now, these ghost stories come from our home state, the Arkansas.
The Arkansas.
Yes, the Arkansas. The one and only Arkansas.
Just in case you guys didn't already pick up where we were from.
Oh, yeah. Now, some of these I've actually heard of, and some of them I haven't. I also didn't realize until doing further research that there are a lot associated with Arkansas. There's actually a website that I'm using right now that it actually lists 20. We're going to talk about 10 in this episode. I will do a part 2 for the last 10.
Ooh.
And
2-part ghosts.
yes, 2-party ghosty.
Yay.
Now, I am sure that there are a lot more out there, and I'll probably do another episode later on. We'll see. So, let's get into the ghosties of Arkansas.
Ooh. I won't do that the whole time. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the first one, we are going to talk about Highway 365.
I know that highway. Traveled it many a times.
I bet. It's pretty popular, but there are a few stories that surround the highway. A lot of the stories are about vanishing hitchhikers, which I think a lot of states have that type of ghost story surrounding one of their highways at some point in time.
Yeah, I think every state does have a popular road that hitchhikers tend to go missing on. I don't know that they're all associated with ghosts, but I agree. Because I know there's a lot of serial killers like that were known to do their killings through the hitchhikers, and there were very popular routes they would take, like, in order to find their victims and whatnot. So.
Right. Okay, so one of these stories takes place close to Woodson. On a rainy night, a driver will see a young woman on the side of the road. The driver stops to offer that girl a ride home. The girl tells him where she lives, and he takes her to a house in Redfield. And when they get to the house, he goes around to open her door, only to find out that she is no longer in the car. So he walks up to the house, knocks on the door. A man or a woman will answer, and the driver will tell him what happened. The homeowners will tell him that he must have been talking about their daughter who was killed in a car accident 4 years ago, and that every year on the anniversary of her death, she will walk the road until she can have someone bring her home.
Isn't that a Super Dad episode? Not sponsored.
But that would be awesome.
No, I think something similar to that.
Yeah, I'm sure there probably was. I think it had to do with a bridge too, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was the mom and the kids is what it was.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember now. But it was started pretty similar to
Yeah, that's what
up
I'm saying.
to the point of the house.
Yeah, because I think that one right there, actually, there's a lot, like I was saying, like in different states. I think that is
a pretty common.
Yeah, I really do. And so the next one, there is another hitchhiking girl that can be seen by the bridge going into Batesville. So supposedly you'll be driving down the road, minding your own business, listening to music, your favorite podcast, when all of a sudden you'll see a girl. You will see a girl with bruises all over her and a cut above one of her eyes.
Oh.
So you're going to stop, offer her help. She'll ask you, that you take her home. Well, whenever you pull up to the house, she's no longer in your car. Now, it said that a guy picked her up, drove her home, and he seen that she wasn't in the car anymore when he got to the address, so he walked to the house and knocked on the door. And he was told that their daughter was killed 1 month ago at the bridge, and he was not the first person to actually bring her back home. They say that she is still roaming the highway close to the bridge looking for another ride home. Another version is that a man was driving down the highway and seen a girl on the side of the road. He picked her up, took her home, and again she had disappeared from the car when they got to their destination. The girl's father said that she would have someone drive her home on the anniversary of her death every year. Now, another freakier version is that the man had picked the girl up, and because it was raining, the girl's clothes were soaked. So he offered her his coat, she put it on, and he drove her home. When they got there, again she had disappeared, and her father said that she had died a while back. So the guy was curious and decided to go to her grave, and there he found his coat that he had given to the girl lying on her headstone.
Oh, wow. Oh, that would freak me out.
Yes, that'd be so scary.
Yeah, it would be.
Now, there's also supposed to be a little girl on the highway as well. From what they say, she will run out in front of your car and make you think that you've run her over.
Oh.
Now, when you get out of the car to check on her, there won't be anything there. There's another story saying that if you stop in the middle of the road and honk your horn 3 times, a ghostly motorcycle will appear and run right through your car. Another story is a hitchhiker that is a man that tells you of the second coming and then disappears.
Oh.
I like my hand talking. I like to talk with my hands. Are you just seeing my fingers? Is that what it is?
You just see a hand doing this. It's like a windmill hand.
I like to talk with my hands. I'm sorry. I will try to refrain. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about is the Arkansas State Capitol. Now, the Arkansas State Capitol was built on the grounds where the state penitentiary used to be. And it was used to keep criminals, but it was also used for the members of the Union Army during the Civil War, and it was later used to confine Confederate soldiers when the Union Army took control of Little Rock. And during this time, it was not uncommon to kill Confederate or Union sympathizers while the war was going on, and even after the war was over. They say that the number of people that died on the grounds is pretty high. There was part of the property that was used as a cemetery for the prisoners that died without family. And they would be buried in unmarked graves, and sometimes they would just throw them into a mass grave spot, left there to rot. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Terrible.
Now, when the construction of the state capitol started, they were doing what they were supposed to do, just digging up the basement floor. When they started to uncover coffins, hundreds of wooden coffins, and they even dug up actual bones.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it took them 7 months to completely remove everything, and before they could actually start construction again. The Capitol was finally done on January 1st, 1915. I know I keep saying a lot, I'm sorry. There have been a lot of people that said that they have seen a woman floating down the marble staircase. She's usually wearing period clothing, and some say that they have heard a woman screaming on the staircase as well.
Oh no.
Someone did do an investigation, and one of the investigators saw a figure moving beside another investigator. And no one really knows who this woman is, but some think that she could have worked in the building in the 1900s. There are also reports of a man being seen only on the 4th floor, and he is usually seen in the 19th century clothing. Again, no one really knows who this man could be, but I'm thinking maybe, I'm not 100% sure, it could be connected to the next tale in some way. I know that the time period doesn't really add up with the clothing that the man is wearing, but it does seem a little interesting.
Okay, well, what's your next story?
So in 1932, Ira Gurley, I think that's how you say it, Gurley, who was going for Secretary of State, was going to the elevator on the 3rd floor. When he went to step onto the elevator, the operator didn't realize that someone was trying to get on, and he closed the door and made the elevator go up. Yeah, and when he did that, Ira was crushed between the elevator floor and the top of the door frame.
Oh no, poor Ira.
Yeah, that's
an awful way to go.
If I ever see that in a movie or something, I can't actually watch it. It's kind of like was it Final Destination? Well, I don't think they were crushed, but they were cut.
Yeah.
In Final Destination. Oh.
Yeah.
The elevators have all been updated since then, but they still don't seem to work like they should since that day. When you go to a floor, or whenever you choose a floor, a lot of the times that floor will be skipped, and it only opens at the right floor after it's stopped on multiple floors. So that's an interesting little tidbit there.
Okay.
Now the next thing we're going to talk about is Hornibrook House, or the Empress of Little Rock. Now in Little Rock there's a bed and breakfast called the Empress of Little Rock, but people call it the Hornibrook Mansion. It used to be a women's college, a boarding house, a nursing home, and at one point apartments.
Ooh, a nursing home.
Yeah. And the new owners decided to turn it into an inn, and it has become one of the most loved ones in the state.
Okay.
I haven't been there, and I don't even think I've heard of it.
Do they post the history of the house at the front of the house?
Probably. I bet they do. Now, they say that there are a few ghosts that reside in the building, one being the original owner, James H. Hornibrook himself. And he died at a young age at only 49.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And some sources say that he died while playing cards with his friends, and some sources say that he had a stroke at the front of his gate of his mansion.
Okay.
Now, there is an actual death mask that he had made years before his death because he was afraid he would die young.
Well, he was correct.
Yeah. Apparently, the man that owns it now has said that James, came to him and begged him to return the hotel to the way it was before, and his wife has felt cold spots around the building while working. Another ghost that a lot of people see is a former maid, and she is normally seen just standing in different rooms on the 2nd floor before disappearing into closets. Another ghost people claim to see is a man in an old-fashioned captain's outfit, just standing in different areas. People also say that they hear footsteps in halls and people talking in empty rooms. In another source, a guest claimed that something or someone had jiggled the doorknob of their room, opened the door, but there was no one in the doorway. Yeah, I'd be gone. Just gone.
How was that?
Just gone. Alright, so now we're going to talk about Mount Holly Cemetery.
I've heard of this one.
See, I haven't heard of this.
I have heard of this one.
Now, this cemetery is located in Little Rock, and there have been a lot of respectful people buried there. It was established in 1843 and had 21 former Little Rock mayors, 14 Arkansas Supreme Court justices, 10 Arkansas governors, and 6 U.S. senators buried on the grounds.
No wonder it's haunted.
Yeah. It also has Civil War-related grave sites, which could definitely be another reason, with one being that of David O. Dodd, a Confederate spy who was captured and killed. It said that there are quite a few hauntings at the site. There have been Confederate soldiers and Native Americans seen walking around at night. There's also talk about people being able to hear a flute playing early in the mornings. And supposedly, the statues are known to move around the cemetery on their own, and sometimes some items will just appear on the graves. Now, one of the craziest stories is that people that live near the cemetery will go outside to find pieces of the statues or the gravestones in their yard.
Oh, well, it would be disturbing.
Yes. I'm not sure exactly why that would happen.
I don't know.
That's some scary stuff.
That is some scary stuff.
Now, one really cool thing about the cemetery is that Little Rock throws an event every year on the 2nd Sunday of October from 2 to 4 called Tales of the Crypt.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Which, of course, because I didn't know about this anyway.
I mean, I know about I've heard the stories of the cemetery, but I've never heard about the event. Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah.
Ooh, 90s kids everywhere, perking up.
Yeah.
What did you say? How did he do that? What was his laugh?
I'm not even going to
Come on,
that.
I know you can do it. I know you can do the Crypt Keeper's laugh.
I cannot. So, over 1,000 people show up every year, and the drama students of Drama Department of Parkview Arts and Science Magnet High School in Little Rock will research a person that is buried at the graveyard, and will talk about the history of that person.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. I just thought it sounded really cool, and it sounded like something that I would definitely enjoy doing. We should actually go do that one day.
I'm down. Let's go. It's not that far.
So if you'd like to check it out, you can find more information on mounthollycemetery.org, and I will link the website in the show notes as well.
Right on. Very cool.
The next one we're going to talk about is the Old Arsenal. Now, the Old Arsenal is located in MacArthur Park and contains the MacArthur Museum of Arkansas Military History. In 1836, when Arkansas became a state, there was a need to build a military installation to protect people from attacks. There were over 30 different buildings built to keep weapons, ammunition, and equipment. Arkansas joined the Confederate States in May of 1861 and took over the post after a peaceful negotiation. Oh my gosh, I can't say that.
Negotiation.
Negotiation. Wow. Oh, goodness.
They're getting to you.
They're getting to me. I can't talk. Arkansas Confederate soldiers used the arsenal to make repairs on their weapons and to make gunpowder. After a huge battle with the Union troops, Little Rock was retaken and the Union soldiers moved back into the post. The arsenal was also said to have held the 17-year-old David Dodd, who had possession of plans that would reveal the position of the troops and the stashes in Little Rock. In 1873, after the Civil War, the post was renamed the Little Rock Barracks and mainly housed troops until it was closed in 1890.
I thought you said his name was David O'Dodd.
It is, but I just left out his middle initial.
Seems important.
Excuse me, 17-year-old David O'Dodd.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, Captain Arthur MacArthur was stationed there in 1880 for 6 months, and he welcomed his son Douglas, where he would actually become General of the United States Army in World War II and most of the Korean War.
Impressive.
Very. In 1892, Little Rock gave the government 1,000 acres in return for that 36-acre plot, under the condition that it would always be used as a public park. Now, all the buildings were torn down, and the arsenal was left to deteriorate for 50 years. In 1930, the building was renovated slowly and became the city's Museum of Natural History and Antiques, and reopened in 1942. In 1997, the building was renovated again and reopened in 2001 as the MacArthur Museum of Arkansas Military History. And as with many military sites, the Arsenal building and the land seems to have spirits of people that have some kind of tie to the place. And I'm sure there are some that are still there because some unfortunately died on the property due to battles, diseases, or accidents. In 1863, there was a huge battle for the city of Little Rock, and a lot of soldiers lost their lives. Now, remember the 17-year-old David O'Dodd?
I do.
Well, after he was captured at the checkpoint with the information regarding the military that he should not have had in his possession, that was written in Morse code. You're right there.
The light is right in my face.
I'm sorry.
It's driving me nuts. I should have put something up.
Yeah.
I need to get a curtain. Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
Are you sorry I interrupted you?
Oh, you're fine. Let me redo this. Sorry. Okay, so well, after he was captured at a checkpoint with information regarding the military that he should not have had in his possession, that was actually written in Morse code. He was offered a plea deal if he would give up the people that gave him the information. Well, David didn't take that deal, so he received a 4-day trial and was ultimately convicted of being a spy for the Confederacy. And the judge gave him the death penalty and was sentenced to hang.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty severe punishment.
Well, he was a spy. Gonna give out military information and secrets.
But it didn't hurt nobody. And he didn't get to give any information out. He just give him a slap on the wrist and be like, don't spy again.
But if you would have gotten out, it could have been very bad.
Don't do that, David.
Bad, David, bad.
Schitt's Creek. Oh my God, David.
Sorry, show.
Not sponsored.
Now, at the arsenal, the gallows were put up and the soldiers were guarding it in case there was a rescue attempt. Now, 6,000 people watched as David was brought to the gallows and a noose was placed around his neck. He was forced to step off the back of a wagon's tailgate. Now, because the wagon was so low to the ground, it put David in a position to where he wasn't high enough to actually break his neck.
Oh.
So he slowly strangled to death.
Oh.
Now, one soldier tried to make it happen faster by pulling up on the rope, but it didn't help. So after the truly horrific execution, he was quietly buried at the Mount Holly Cemetery.
I bet he was.
Yeah. Now, people have said that they hear voices, talking, and music throughout the building. One employee said that she heard music and someone laughing while sitting in her office, and when she went out to go see who it was, no one there.
That's the thing about those ghosts. They disappear.
Yeah, it's like they don't want you to see them.
It's crazy.
Makes me sad.
I've seen them.
Yes, yes. We have seen the ghosts.
Many a times.
Now, one night when an employee was closing, they say someone dressed in a dark uniform stretched out across some... they seen a... I'm having issues talking so bad. One night when an employee was closing, they say they seen someone dressed in a dark uniform stretched out across some chairs. The employee ran to get someone to help her because she was thinking it was a homeless person. When they got back, the other employee walked up to the man and reached out to touch him, and he vanished. There have been other translucent apparitions that have been seen walking down the stairs.
Oh, God, does he hate me?
John Cena. Not sponsored.
I might be a ghost.
Okay. Some people have also noticed shadow people and strange shadows on the wall, and some have even seen two shadows dueling under the stairs in the basement.
Oh, wow.
Now, the last ghost is who people think could be David. In the late afternoon on stormy winter days, they say that there's a playful ghost that likes to throw things at people. Someone walks down the stairs, they might notice something flying right by them. Like somebody just threw it.
Seems like a David thing to do.
Yeah. Seems like this ghost just likes to play harmless pranks and maybe to see, like get people's reactions. Like, hey, that was close.
Yeah. Oh my God, David.
You're just going to keep referencing that, aren't you?
It's my best Alexis.
Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about is Curran Hall. Now, the home was originally built for the wife of Colonial Ebenezer Walters in 1843. Fortunately, she was never able to see the home because she died during childbirth before it was even completed. Do you want to move?
Mm-mm.
No, it's Colonial.
It's Colonel.
And my website said Colonial.
It's It's Colonel.
Okay, well, we are having a little bit of a argument here. My sources said Colonial.
This is definitely Colonel.
She's saying it's Colonel Ebenezer Walters. So give us a second, because she's going to Google it.
Not sponsored. This song's not.
How to pronounce the word kernel. This word is so deceiving. Here's why. You start with a k sound and then...
You ever heard of Colonel Sanders? Anybody ever called him Colonel Sanders? Colonel Sanders.
Excuse me. That's just rude and Uncalled for. Okay, so let's start this again. The home was originally built for the wife of a Colonel Ebenezer Walters in 1843. Unfortunately, she was never able to see the home because she died during childbirth before it had actually been completed. The home has gone through many owners throughout the years, and the city of Little Rock purchased the property in 1996. The building is now used for the official greeting center for the mayor and the city's welcome center. And because of how old the building is, it is no surprise that it is considered haunted. There are stories that go all the way back to after the death of Mary Walters. There have been reports of people seeing objects moving on their own, feeling cold spots, and hearing noises. There was a paranormal group that came and did an investigation, and they did catch something on camera, and they described it as a sparkle. Some sources say that the coffee pots will make coffee without grounds or water.
Oh. Is it good?
Please come to our house.
Is it good?
I don't know.
Oh.
Someone had even claimed to have had captured a voice recording that says, "Mary, that's who I am."
Was that the name of the wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she said that. Sorry.
Well, you're fine. Alright, so the next one we are going to talk about is the Argenta Historic District. Now, I couldn't find a whole lot on this one, but it is said that there was a murder of an innocent man named Homer Blackman, who is a restaurant owner, and that someone had shot and hung him. They said that there was a riot in 1906, and he was accused of shooting at the deputy sheriff Lindsay and his son. He was arrested on October 7th, 1906 for this accusation. But 4 masked men came for him on October 9th, 1906 and hung him from a utility pole on the corner of 6th and Main and was shot multiple times. Now, people say that they have heard noises, footsteps, and the sound of a man being choked.
Oh.
It said that there is also a ghost of a young woman who used to be a prostitute that haunts the four-quarter bar. Some people also say that they have had visions of a woman and a man walking together at 415 Main Street. Excuse me. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about is the Natural Steps. The Natural Steps is a town located west of Little Rock near Perry County border. There have been a lot of ghost stories over the years that take place in this area. A lot of them were even told before the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. One story surrounding the Natural Steps is that the Confederates wanted to be able to hide a large amount of gold, so they thought it would be a great idea to sink their boat in a location that they could remember. When they started the process of sinking the boat, they decided to use dynamite. 3 of those men were killed in that explosion. Another story is that Gustav Sanders and a woman named Martha married at the top of the Natural Steps. Unfortunately, he died just a few days later from what some say was an unknown illness that a lot of people have actually died from. The woman was so upset over this that she disappeared, with some saying she jumped from the Natural Steps into the Arkansas River. And the story says that Martha can be seen dressed in white, walking in the Natural Steps Cemetery, heading towards the woods and towards the steps. Then she will follow them down into the river and never returns.
And never returns.
Why are you making fun of the way I talk?
It's cute.
Alright, so the next one I'm going to talk about, hopefully I say this correctly, Plum Bayou Mounds Archaeology. Oh my gosh.
Did you just ask me why I was making fun of the way you talk?
Yes. Plum Bayou Mounds Archaeology. Oh my gosh, it's kind of like me trying to say
Aluminum.
No.
Tranquilizer.
I cannot say that word.
Plum Bayou Mounds Archaeological State Park.
I can't say that word apparently. I can say it good in my head. I can't get it out my lips.
Colonel.
Oh my gosh. She's so mean to me. Alright, so whenever I'm going to have to say that word, I'm just going to point to her and she's going to say it.
Can't see me, but I will say it.
You really can't.
You can't see. It's like the sun knows we're telling ghost stories. It's like, are they there or are they not there?
That's true. Maybe I can move over a little bit here.
hidden by the rays of the days.
That's a chair, I swear.
I'm sitting here, it isn't.
Okay.
That's not better. You're just further away. It's not my face in this video. That's okay.
I was gonna say, why is it so bad on you?
That's okay. I just have to be. You be the face. I'll be the pronunciator.
Okay, alright. So, now the mounds used to be called the Toltec Mounds and are located in Lonoke County between Scott and Keogh. It's one of the largest
Archaeological.
sites in Arkansas and the lower Mississippi River Valley and is a National Historical Landmark. Sources say that Native Americans lived on the site and built the mounds between 650 and 1050 AD.
My husband and I have actually gone there.
Really?
There's a whole park you can go to and walk around and look at all the Toltec mounds. It's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times.
Now, because of the way they lived, archaeologists, I can say that one, use the name Plum Bayou culture. Now, the site was used as a religious center for people in the countryside. There were a few, but not many, other religious leaders that actually lived in the site, and it was mainly used for ceremonies. Now, the people were hunters and gatherers and would also fish in the river. There was a total of 18 mounds that were located around 2 rectangular spaces. That is really bad.
I swear I'm here. I am here.
That is really bad.
I will buy a curtain and solve this problem the next time, but we're still going to post this video because we promised in our last video that we were going to post come hell or high water. So, just ignore the floating voice.
Alright. Move over.
Which way?
This way.
Hey! That's not going to work though, because you need to be the...
Oh, over here.
Well, why don't you sit here and I'll sit here.
What?
You sit here and I'll sit here.
Okay. Being weird.
Hey! I swear that was the chair.
Well, I'm sure that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Mike is right over here, though. How are you good?
I got the oomph I need to get it there. It'll be alright.
Okay, so, let's see. Okay, so I started. I felt you.
You were supposed to move your head back.
Okay, so, now one of the mounds is 49 feet high, one is 39 feet high, and one is 13 and a half feet high. Now the rest are under 4 feet high, but one of them was used as a burial mound. Now the researchers are not sure why the mounds were abandoned around 1850 AD, and they don't really know what happened to the people either.
That says 1050.
What did I say?
18.
Excuse me, 1050 AD. I don't know what is wrong with me today. I haven't made your malfunctions. Okay, some of the visitors have reported hearing footsteps while no one is around, and others have seen orbs and even apparitions. There are 2 trails in the park, and they say that both will lead to paranormal happenings, but all the occurrences actually happened at the mounds themselves. And both of the trails go right by the mounds.
I will say that is true.
Yeah.
They do. And as somebody who has personally walked these trails and around all of the mounds, there's definitely a much heavier feeling when you're closer to the mounds than there is when you're on the trails.
Yeah, okay. I was going to ask you, like, hey,
Yeah.
you've been there. How did
I
it feel?
I have. It did. I will say I will agree with that statement. It definitely felt heavier around the mounds than anywhere else in the area that we walked.
Yeah, definitely going to check that out. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about is the Clayton House. Now, Mr. Sutton built the original house in 1852 for him and his family, and they lived there for about 8 years. It was square and had 2 stories. Now, the Suttons went to a safer place in Texas when the Civil War happened. Did you just see that?
No.
You didn't see it move by itself?
Mm-mm.
Let me start. Suttons went to a safer place in Texas when the Civil War happened, and they stayed there until it was over. So their home became a place for recovering Confederate soldiers, but none of them actually died in the house. Now, the troops that used their home decided it would be a good idea to take almost all the valuables in the house and trash it in the process. So the Suttons didn't have the money to repair the home, so he had to sell it and all of his other property to be able to start over with his family. And the house was empty until William Harrison Clayton, who was the federal attorney for the Western District, bought the house along with the rest of Sutton's property. Now, the Williams family had grown quite a bit by 1872, with him and his wife now having 7 children.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of kiddos.
That's a lot, yeah.
Don't know why I switched an accent.
I have no idea.
Now, that... I lost my place.
That caused additional space to be needed. Them 7 children.
Yes, it did. He had additions added to the home, doubling how big it was, and changed the architecture style to Italianate. Is that what I want to say? Italianate, I believe. And
yeah, that's what I would say.
And added some goth style as well. Now, in 1906, his wife Florence had died in the home, and he ended up selling the property at some time. And 14 years later, William died in 1902. Now, the house staying in the family until 1912 and became a boarding house at some point in time as well. I'm not really 100% sure when all this took place. I tried to find some of the information. Now, the house was unfortunately scheduled to be torn down due to a fire that had burned a hole in the ceiling of one of the bedrooms.
Oh.
In 1969, Julia Yodden of Fort Smith stopped the demolition. Julia and 6 others created the Fort Smith Heritage Foundation and bought the property.
Good for them.
Yeah. Now, they wanted to return the property back to the way it was originally, and it took over 7 years to complete. It's so weird that you're back there. On May 30th, 1977, it was opened as the Historic House Museum. And they say that people who visit the foundation are not the only ones who love the property. There are spirits that are attached to the house, and they didn't waste any time to let people know that they are there. The previous director, Martha Silver, said that she started having experiences not too long after she started working there. She claims that there is a bedroom on the 2nd floor that people are afraid of, and people will hear doors slamming, stomping boots, and music playing. She has even claimed that she's seen the ghost of a woman who was dressed in a linen shirt and a brown skirt. Now, a carpenter took pictures during the project and captured the figure of a woman. There have been paranormal investigators that have captured EVPs, with one being the meow of a cat. Yeah. Meow cat. There's another EVP of a man cussing and calling out to someone named Anna. And the Claytons actually had a daughter named Anne. Now, the spot where the carpenter took the photos, a woman had her hair actually pulled as well.
Oh, that would be enough for me.
Yeah.
That would be out.
They start getting a little aggressive like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
once they make physical contact in any way, I'm out.
Now, guests have seen shadows and apparitions out of the corner of their eyes. Some have seen a pair of just gray legs going up the stairs.
Huh.
Yeah, just the legs.
Well.
And lights will go on and off by themselves as well. Now, there is an apparition of an older woman who is said to be peaceful and gentle. She has been seen by the windows and in the Clayton's office.
Owner of the cat.
Maybe. Now, a repairman was in the office when he'd seen a woman that was see-through, just standing there watching him.
It's so weird. They turn it all the way around to look at me.
Well, I want you to feel included. It's also,
Oh, where are you going?
it's also said that the ghost of Powell Clayton is there and not afraid to interact with paranormal investigators. And the spirit told them that he is attached to something in the display cases. Like the spirit actually told that investigator.
Oh, he didn't tell him what though?
No, I don't think so.
Probably worried he would burn it or something. Try to get rid of it.
Maybe. Now, there is a spirit called the Grumpy Man, who is seen wearing a suit and a top hat that has been seen scowling at people in different parts of the building. During an event, someone on the front porch seen a man peek out from the corner of the house, and when they went to go see who it was, there wasn't anyone there. Now, Grace is the spirit of a little girl that will be seen playing around the house. Some people think that she could be Mr. Sutton's daughter who had died in the house. So, that is the first part of Ghosts of Arkansas.
That could not have been a more unprofessional recording ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry,
But it
because
was
I
fun.
had fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was very interesting. I didn't realize there were so many different places with that kind of stuff attached to it in such a small little state like Arkansas.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I didn't realize there was either.
And I'm really excited to check out the Tales from the Crypt event next year.
I know.
I didn't know that was a thing, but I definitely want to see what that's all about. And
Me
I look
as well.
forward to hearing the second part, to hear more ghosties.
Yeah, I think we should also go do the Batesville one too, because that's not very far from us.
Yeah, we could drive there on a Saturday and film that, right?
Yeah, we can do that on Saturday night and just see what we catch.
I'm down. You want to plan for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. So sometime in the next, month?
That's really far away, but
Sometime in the next 2 weeks?
yeah, let's go with that.
We'll go check out the Batesville one ourselves, and we'll record it while we do it and see what happens.
Yeah, we will post that video as a little extra, little snippet.
Yeah, that'd be a little bonus,
Yeah.
bonus. Don't say that. Anyway.
I didn't catch it till I looked at you. I was like, oh.
We did also talk about, I know we started with Arkansas, obviously, because we're from Arkansas, so it just was like a natural state thing to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we have talked about, we're going to do these kinds of stories for every state, eventually.
Yes.
So if you know one from your state that you would like to be included, or if you have your own personal ghost story, and I know there's tons of people out there who do,
Yes.
we also have our own personal ghost stories, just from growing up. And I'm still a CNA, but I've been a CNA for 16 years, and so I've had many experiences to talk about. So I know a lot of you out there have stories, and we would love nothing more than to hear them from you, or read them from you if you want to send them in an email at renderthedarknesspod@gmail.com. That'd be awesome.
Yes, that would be so cool. Ghosties.
Other than that, I'm not going to do my traditional long-winded rant at the end. I'm just going to say thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes.
Apologize for the quality of the video, because I know that was awful.
And sorry about all the mess ups and the goofiness, and but
We're not always that unprofessional, but it is what it is.
it was fun.
It was fun. We
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed it at least a little bit too. If you did, feel free to subscribe and share with your friends.
Comment.
Yeah, reach
Let
out to us.
know.
We'd love to hear from you. I promise you, we respond to every person.
Every single one. Do the ghosty. Do the ghost.
And on that note, this is
Render the
Darkness.
Bye.
Bye.